201s. The rest of the field was stuck in the 202s. Pace dropped off over the rest of the race. It was very hot. Track conditions were quite intense. This was a great race. That was Brendan Leach being pushed all the way by Isham Pires. Dropped off towards the end of the opening race. 15 laps in the books. We got through quite comfortably. There was a couple of incidents, and that was further back in the field. Unfortunately, that claimed Thomas Newdy and Tsuruoka Yamaguchi towards the closing stages of the race down at turn 9. This was a good battle too further back. That's the one we were talking about. There is, unfortunately for Yamaguchi, game over for him down at turn 12. Saw yellow flags waved. Started at turn 9. A bit of news to come from that after the race. No doubt both drivers had their own views on exactly what had played out. The checkered flag came though. It was another High-Tech Grand Prix 1-2. They were the star performers in season 2018. They won the championship, of course. And they are back in action this weekend and pushing very, very hard to try and carry on that great pace. Jack Doohan left of screen, Sashihara in the middle, and of course Daniel Chow on right of screen. And then a great job for Monster to come through, Dragon rather, to take the win in Masters. Now we get to do it all over again. This is the second of 15 races for the 2019 season of the F3 Asian Championship. We're here at Sepang International Circuit. No doubt we'll hear from Feline down on the grid fairly soon as the drivers get themselves into their starting positions ahead of what will be another warm 30-minute race. Temperatures in the low 30s, humidity as expected. This is the tropics. It's quite high, but these are young talents that will go on to become some of the most recognised names in world motorsport in their futures. It's a perfect opportunity for them in this part of the world to turn valuable miles in a championship that very much paves the way to a future that could end all the way in Formula One. There have been drivers in this part of the world in the past that have transferred that ability through the ranks to get to Europe and into the heights of F1, and certainly in formula like the World Endurance Championship. There's a lot of them in the top level of GT racing and also in tin tops. So this is a great proving ground for young talent. We talk about young. Most of the field will be under 20 years of age, from as young as 16. So it looks like Feline may well be down in on the grid with the driver who took the victory in the opening race. That, of course, was Ukiyo Sashihara for High-Tech Grand Prix, the Japanese driver. And he'll be getting all prepped and ready to go for the second race. He will start this race from pole position.
Hi, Ukiyo. A terrific performance this morning. So what's your approach for this round?
Yeah, just try to focus from the first start. Hopefully we could make a good start like last race. Then see what happened, because it's get much hotter now. So we have to see how the degradation is gonna be. So yeah, but just I will enjoy it.
Thank you. Yeah. 那刚刚我问到他呢，他这一场比赛呢有什么样的一个策略？他也提到呢，这场比赛呢他会从头位发车，这是一个非常好的位置。但是现在温度也非常的高，那么他要看看车辆的状况，希望呢自己能拿到一个很快的圈速，同时呢取得一个好的名次。
Thanks, Fee. Well, as expected, the teams are, they're probably a little bit preoccupied, to be perfectly honest. We did have this discussion earlier. Part of the development of a formula like this, which is one of the well-renowned stepping stones to a future career in motorsport, is that you need to prepare for things like talking to people like Feline on the grid. It may not be comfortable for a number of these young drivers. They haven't experienced that sort of thing, but certainly as you get into some of these more media-savvy championships where there's a lot of people on the grid, there's a lot of corporates on the grid, there's a lot of television cameras everywhere, you really do need to be able to cope with the pressure of those sorts of things. So they will be facing all those things, facing their own demons, as it were, sitting down there on the grid preparing for what will be 30 minutes of very, very intense competition. And here is the grid. Ukiyo Sashihara for High-Tech Grand Prix on pole alongside his teammate Jack Doohan. They were 1-2 in the opening race, the two standout performers. 2 seconds separating them for the bulk of the race. Doohan clearly electing not to push too hard. But you can see with that Red Bull livery on his overalls, that on his race suit, that he is very much one of the future young stars of this part of the world. The name Doohan, well, for those of you who follow motorsport, his father Mick is one of the superstars of world motorcycling, as a multiple 500cc Grand Prix winner, and he was around earlier in the weekend. Daniel Chow for Absolute Racing in position number 3 on the grid. Brendan Leach, who did such a good job, the young man from New Zealand who's done a lot of racing in one make competition in his home country during the off-season, turning miles against some of the stars who've gone on to race in higher formula, including F3 and across to Europe. New Zealand, a hotbed of action for young stars. Ishan Piris for Absolute Racing. He was very strong, pushing Brendan Leach right through that opening race, the driver from Sri Lanka. And Jamie Chadwick, who recently won a major championship in India. And she is driving for 7GP and has recently qualified to be part of the W Series all-female competition in Tardis F3 cars run by Hi-Tech this year. That will begin very, very soon. Tomoki Takahashi and Yu Kanamura, the 2 super licensed drivers, supported very strongly by Rio Fukuda, former F1 test driver for Honda and a star in his own right at home in Japan. He is keeping a very close eye on the development of these young drivers and has been very, very supportive. One of the nicest guys down in the garage. It's good to see him back for this year, and he's working very strongly in trying to develop these young guys. Of course, a strong culture for open wheel competition and tin tops, of course, and GT cars in Japan. So a great opportunity to break away from that as difficult championships come into this part of the world, turn laps on F1 style circuits like Sepang International Circuit, and actually prepare yourself for a career in motorsport. 5th row, Akash Gowda, who is returning to the championship. He was part of the F3 Asian Championship last year. And young Jordan Dempsey, who is the F4 China champion, the reigning F4 China champion, the driver from Ireland, did a very, very good job and was very strong in that championship last year. So keep a close eye on him. He will be one to emerge as the course of this year plays out. Keep an eye on that orange and black entry. Back to row 6. Kuai Yu for Zen Motorsport and Thomas Ludi, who unfortunately got involved in that contact in the opening race in a great battle for position. They were at the front of the Masters field, and unfortunately for Toroki Yamaguchi and for Thomas Ludi, that was game over. Thomas done a lot of miles in this part of the world, mostly in open wheelers, big part of the Black Arts operation. So it's nice to see him back on the grid and doing what he enjoys most. He's turning laps in amongst these young guys and really pushing very, very hard. Tommy Smith, young Australian, just 16 years of age in the Pinnacle Motorsport entry, the number 16. Keep an eye on that young man. Has done quite good things in some of the developmental formulas in Australia, Formula Ford being one of those. It's a non-wings, non-slicks category. And of course, Dragon, the boss of the BMAX racing team, who's been such a great supporter of young talent, both at home in Japan and certainly in other parts of the world. He is a great asset to any championship in which he competes, and has been a great asset to Japan too, as he pushes the development of some of the young stars in that part of the world. Another of the Japanese drivers driving for that team, Taroko Yamaguchi, in the BMAX racing operation, and Tom Beckhauser, who was an early retirement in the Black Arts racing machine. The Czech driver had dramas in that opening race, a technical issue which brought him back into pit lane, and unfortunately for him, he was a very, very early retirement. But ultimately, it was a 1-2 for Hi-Tech Grand Prix, or Hi-Tech Dragon GP as they were last year. Paul Wong in the 852 Challengers entry. He did a good job too, but unfortunately fell a little bit further back towards the end of the race, but he was the last classified finisher, a lap down on the race leaders. But valuable experience. There's a lot of these gentleman drivers that come through and emerge into the one-make categories, and they could probably, some of them, do with competition in a championship like this. It's not so much about racing against guys that can be 20 or 30 years younger than you. It is all about getting experience with a car that really does need to be driven physically, and that can be translated into some good speed with both GT cars and touring cars, so valuable miles for them. We're getting ready to go. It's going to be hot, and we're on to race 2 of 15 with the F3 Asian Championship.
Hello everyone.
Hello everyone.
Welcome to 2019 Formula 3 Asian Championship.
35 by FIA.
New season,
17 cars.
10 teams, 2 categories, one same goal. The championship. The championship. The championship.
Are you ready? Let's go.
Let's go indeed. Let's get underway. An opportunity for the drivers to get round, get some heat into the tyres, and also get the brain focused on the action ahead for what promises to be a very, very interesting 30-minute race. This is the second race of the season. We've got a big season ahead, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Different conditions. It's warmer. Track temperature is up. Driver temperature, well, I guess they've got themselves organised. They've had one race. They've got themselves into some semblance of order, got focused, eyes forward, and the job will be on for what will be a very, very interesting race. Keep you up to date with everything that's going on. Make sure you stay tuned with all the social media platforms in both English and Chinese. www.f3asia.com will keep you up to date with some of the action. And certainly there will be plenty of that across the course of this 2019 championship. Came very close to saying the 2018 championship just then. Of course, we're well past that. In the off-season, of course, we have the F3 Winter Series. The Asian Winter Series, as it were. And that was a good opportunity for drivers in the off-season to turn some important miles ahead of this season, whether you were competing in Asia or whether you were competing in Europe. So we're here at Sepang International Circuit, first of 5 events for the year, 3 races per event. Off to Podium International Circuit, or Chang International Circuit in Thailand, May 11 and 12. June 22 and 23, the iconic Suzuka Circuit in Japan, another F1 venue. September 7th and 8th leads into a doubleheader at Shanghai International Circuit. Just 3 weeks later will be the final round of the championship again at Shanghai International Circuit. And that will be races 11 and 13 13 to 15. Crikey. This is really early in the season. The numbers are all mixed up. This is going to be the second round of the season. Tata's F3 T318 chassis, the Alfa Romeo 4-cylinder turbo ATM AR F3R engine, around 270 horsepower, 350 newton meters of torque, so it gets off the line pretty well. But 650 kilogram minimum weight, or thereabouts. That is pretty good power to weight ratio, and it's the reason why these cars can circulate at very close to, and sometimes better than, the pace of a GT3 car with something like 650 horsepower. So they are a serious race car. GT Competition GTR1 tyres, the control tyre for this formula. It's a harder compound, but that is good for wear. So drivers aren't worrying about tyres being torn up. They're not worrying about tyre management. This is a developmental formula. You don't need to be worrying about those sort of things. You need to be safe. It has the halo across the cockpit, just like F1 does, to keep the drivers safe in case of any kind of rollover. They do have the rollover hoop, of course, but to stop any kind of frontal intrusion. And they have pretty hefty side intrusion panels too for safety for the drivers as they get ready for what will be the second race of the season. Car number 1, the man who set the fastest lap and won the opening round of the season earlier today, Ukyo Sashihara. Alongside, you can see Jack Doohan is parked at an angle, and his angle is directed straight across at the pole sitter. So that'll be very interesting to see how the race starts. 5-second board. They start to build the revs. Get ready to drop the clutch, and away they will go. We'll be underway, and we are underway. In fact, Sashihara got such a good start. He really did make the most of that. So too did Doohan. Isham Peiris is squeezing one of the super licensed drivers across towards the inside wall. That won't end well if that follows up. He's going to try and fire down the inside up to third. Got alongside his teammate. Daniel Chow forced back to position number 4. One of the super licensed drivers actually got himself up into position number 4. I'd expect that may well be Tomoki Takahashi. And what a great start for him. Further back, Thomas Ludi trying to make amends for that opening race DNF. That was frustration for him. There's this great battle down to turn 4. You can see further back. That might be Jamie Chadwick mixed up in all of that too. Down the inside, too wide. That's not the best way to get through there quickly. And the number 7 entry of Takahashi already up to about position number 4. He started very, very strongly. There are the two that dominated the opening race. That is Sashihara and Doohan at the front. And nice job by Isham Peiris to be up to position number 3. He started very, very strongly. moved into a strong opportunity to try and push the two high-tech Grand Prix entries immediately ahead of him. Down to the back of the circuit. They're coming down to turn number 9. That's the all-blue entry. Jamie Chadwick is further back. She's shown in position 7. Of course, that's where she did start this race. And in fact, she started in position number 6. So there's been a slight update to the timing monitor. That's good news. We were in the opening race waiting a little long to get the updates. Now we're well ahead of it. That is Brendan Leach in the pink and black entry for Black Arts Racing. He's back in position 5 after the great start. Takahashi, he started from position 7. He's already up to P4. He's done a brilliant job. He's under fire now from Brendan Leach. What does he have to offer? And that may well be, just checking who that will be further back behind him. We'll pick that up fairly quickly. Jamie Chadwick in the 77. And despite the fact that Brendan Leach tried to do something down at turn 15, the door was closed firmly by Takahashi. He keeps on to that position. Front of the field, 1.2 second advantage for Sasahara to Jack Doohan. Isham Pires, position 3, doing a brilliant job for Absolute Racing. 9/10 off the tail. Oh, this is a tight battle. And that, unfortunately, is Daniel Chow, who was so strong in the first race. Set pole position. Oh, yeah, tagged very, very closely. Now, what's happened behind that? Takahashi was very lucky to get away with that. That looked like a wing end plate going into the rear tyre. Keep a close eye on the Japanese driver. Hopefully he won't have a tyre go down. But what happened to the front of the driver that was behind him during that? I don't think it was Brendan Leach. Was it Jamie Chadwick that just fired down? Yeah, somebody's lost a nose. Yep, that's, well, that was a result of that contact. These things don't operate well, especially at an F1 circuit with high speed and mid-speed corners. That is going to be a very difficult job. So there'll be somebody dropping well down. Was that Daniel Chow? No, I don't think it was. Brendan Leach has dropped back. Well, that is from starting position, but he is back in position number 5. Jamie Chadwick, position number 6. Now here is this battle group. Let's take a close look at what we have here. So leading that is Takahashi. Immediately behind is Brendan Leach in the pink and black. Jamie Chadwick, she had jumped up a spot. She's in position 6. Daniel Chow back to position number 7. That's not where he wanted to be. He started this race from position 3. And 3 was one of the great spots to start the opening race. Jack Doohan started P3 and finished up P2. Right at the moment, it hasn't worked out so well for the Absolute Racing driver. Back to position number 7. Meanwhile, for his teammate, Isham Pires, he's done a great job. He's moved further forward. That is the 16 entry. That's Tommy Smith, the 16-year-old from Australia. He's doing a great job further forward. And immediately behind him, I'm sure that's Tom Beckhauser. May well have been. I need to get that livery sorted in my mind. There's Takahashi. Well, talking about Rio Fukuda, the team boss of the super license operation. Well, certainly a guiding hand for that team. He will be very proud of his young charge. This is just what they wanted to see. Improvement, forward movement. Now, did we lose somebody in all that contact? I thought I saw a car without a front wing. It may have been deceptive with the heat haze. You don't want to be making contact in these cars. Now, Jamie Chadwick, well, there you go. She is in pit lane. She's coming past me now, and there is no nose on the number 77. Well, there is a nose, there's just no front wing. And these cars will not turn without that downforce, and the handling of the car is effectively no value at all. So the team have, the 7GP team, prepared a new nose. They'll make that swap. Check there's no suspension damage, but it looked like it was just the wing end plates catching the rear tyre of Takahashi, who was terribly lucky down at turn 2 not to be turned around or have the tyre force down. Here he is still holding, well, Brendan Leach. Yes, Brendan Leach at bay. Shows on my timing monitor that Brendan Leach had actually got ahead, so that may have happened. I might have missed that, but certainly Takahashi is holding down position number 4 in this race at the moment. That's Brendan Leach in the pink and black car behind him. Akash Gowda, Yukanamura, and Jordan Dempsey. Require you round out the 10. Just trying to make ends of who's where in the field. That is the super license entry. That is Tomoki Takahashi. It says he's behind Brendan Leach. That's what you're looking at on screen. That should be 4th and 5th. No, that's Daniel Chow in the number 5 entry. So Isham Peiris position 4. Brendan Leach has got further ahead. Sorry, it's not red and black. It's pink and black. It's red and black. They're going side by side down to turn 14. What's going to happen coming through the final corner? It's down to turn 15. Right, there is Doohan. There is Isham Peiris. There is Brendan Leach really hauling them in. Here is this great battle for, so close as they come down the main straight between Takahashi and Daniel Chow. The second of the Absolute Racing entries. He's gone in deep. They've both gone in deep. Takahashi has taken the position. He had the inside running. And what that's done is that allowed Akash Gowda to close in on those two. So a three-way battle for position number 4 in this race. And whilst they're doing this, they're losing the group immediately ahead of them. So Sashihara again setting the fastest lap so far. 203.886, the only driver in the 203s. If you recall in the opening race earlier today, it was a little bit cooler. Turning laps in the 201.6s, 201.7s, both he and Jack Doohan. So the pace of the track, you would suggest, has gone off quite significantly. And one of the tough things with the excessive heat, apart from the lack of comfort for the drivers, okay, it's open cockpit, that does help a little bit. Fitness certainly helps an awful lot. It can be very unpredictable with the humidity and the heat to determine just what track conditions are going to be like to extract the maximum from the car. As it stands, Sashihara is up by 2.4 seconds over Jack Doohan. Isham Peiris, position number 3, 0.8 of a second further back. Brendan Leach, 1.8 seconds back. His last lap time, 2:04.3, his fastest lap of the race so far. He was one of the quickest on the circuit. The race leader was the fastest. Great to see Jamie Chadwick back out there. So the car looks like it's going okay. We'll keep a close eye on her pace. Fastest second sector, fastest third sector to Brendan Leach. Let's keep a close eye on the young New Zealander for the Black Arts Racing Team and see what his current lap time will be like. This battle pack further back. Tomoki Takahashi, he's on the inside. Daniel Chow doing everything he can to try and just put the Japanese driver off his game, force some kind of error and allow him to get through. Remember, all these cars are identical. Same tyre, same engine, same TARDIS chassis. And again, Daniel Chow forced to the outside in that Absolute Racing entry. Can he get across in front? Yes, he has. He's managed to out-drag Takahashi on the run down to turn 1. Close the door on the turn into the apex of the corner. And he now moves up into position number 5. Brendan Leach, last time round, 2:03.9. The only driver in the 2:03s that lap round. He's the second driver to be in the 2:03s alongside Sashihara. They are the only drivers to go sub 2:04 in this race. Jack Doohan, similar pace to Isham Peiris. In fact, Peiris has set the faster lap of those two drivers. They are separated now by 0.6 of a second. So it's great for Peiris to catch the tail of Jack Doohan, but what can he do to get around the young Australian? This is an F1 circuit. There is a lot of potential overtaking opportunities, a lot of potential space. There isn't necessarily a lot of potential overtaking opportunities. If you make a dive, you need to make sure it's done well. Turn 4 is quite clearly one of those where it's a good opportunity to make a move. So too down at turn 15, the final corner, on the run through to the main straight. If you can get it right, as we just saw in that move between Daniel Chow and Tomoki Takahashi, you can also do it down at turn 1. If you can come out of the final corner with enough pace to be able to just get yourself past slipstream, obviously that works very, very well with open wheelers. Aerodynamics is a big thing. It's an opportunity for drivers to actually use that to their advantage on this long main straight. In a long run from turns 14 that we're looking at now up to the final corner, turn 15, at this 5.54 kilometre Herman Tilke designed F1 venue. Sadly, not used for F1 anymore, but very, very popular again with MotoGP. Always a big favourite of the Malaysian fans. Two-wheel culture, very big in this part of the world, as it is with the next venue we go to, being Thailand and the Chang International Circuit in Buriram. Hosts to MotoGP and I believe World Superbikes, so that's another popular attraction in that part of the world. We will be there for the next event of the F3 Asian Championship presented by the FIA. A good lead. You can see he's out to over 3 seconds now for Sashihara. I wonder what's going on there with Jack Doohan. Doesn't look as comfortable as he was during his debut in the final event of the Asian Winter Series. Made a cameo appearance for High Tech GP and really looked to have had the pace to take the win. Didn't want to take the battle away from his teammates who were fighting for the championship title. But the young Australian really did stamp his mark on being one of the drivers to watch during the course of this season. This is just race 2 of 15 for the 2019 championship. And Jack Doohan, I'm sure, will go on to really take the fight to Sashihara and his rivals. But right at the moment, he has mirrors full of Ishan Peiris. But how about the driver in 4th position, young Brendan Leach? Very talented young driver at home in New Zealand. He's marked as a future hopeful. And again, what better way to actually impress upon the world of motorsport your ability than to come into a well-recognised formula like F3 and promote your ability against some of the best drivers in the region. And look at how much ground he's made up. He was well back. He was 3 or 4 seconds, maybe more back from this battle pack. And he's just moved himself at halfway through this race right into contention to take the fight to the drivers ahead of him. Daniel Chow too, moving forward quite strongly. He's doing a good job. He's probably not going to be able to do much about Brendan Leach now, who's really forged ahead. He's broken away by a couple of seconds over that battle for now position 6 between Takahashi, Akash Gowda, Jordan Dempsey and Yu Kanemaru, second of the super licensed drivers. Here they are. Jordan Dempsey having a good look in that orange and black livery, or red and black livery. The super license entry, the iconic colours of white and red, representing the home country, Japan. Super license, famous team in Japan. There is Daniel Chow, not where he wants to be after starting from pole position, having top qualified for the opening race. Got swamped off the start by the 2 high-tech Grand Prix entries. Sashihara took his front row start and converted that into the race lead and didn't look back from that point. Jack Doohan from position 3 up to P2. So unfortunately for Absolute Racing's Yu Chow, he was forced back and had to face position number 3. It was only a second or so behind Jack Doohan as they crossed the line, so really didn't lose touch with the leaders. It was off the line that he lost his pole advantage. In this race, he got swamped on the run down to turn 1, despite the fact he started this race from position 3, and it all sort of got a bit messy. That allowed the 2 high-tech Grand Prix entries to break away, and that was the only advantage they really needed. They're now up by 4 seconds over Ishan Peiris, although the gap between Peiris and Jack Doohan for position 2 is now just half a second. How about the gap, or the battle further back? Brendan Leach has caught on to Doohan and to Peiris, so he really has closed the door. It's just a couple of car lengths separating the top 3 with half this race still to go. This is where the action will be. What does Brendan Leach have for these drivers? Jack Doohan now, he's controlling the inside line. He has every right to do that. Oh, that was a nice move by Peiris. Brilliant move. He must have been watching Jack Doohan's eyes, but what's he done? Has he gone in too deep? He has done just that. He didn't convert braking late to be able to cross over and close the door on Doohan. Now what he's done is gone from attack to super defence. Brendan Leach has got a better run out of turn 2, held it through turn 3. What can they do to the braking point down to turn 4? Ishan Peiris unfortunately messed up that stop, turning into the right-hander at turn 1. And just overshot the braking point and the apex marginally, and that allowed Jack Doohan on the crossover to take the position. He'd done all that great work. Problem with that is, despite the fact it was a brilliant move, he's played his trump card. He's not going to play that again on Jack Doohan, I would warrant. So the young Australian's going to be wise to that move if Peiris can manage to latch back onto the tail of him. But all that great ground he'd made up has all come unstuck on the exit. Now what he's got to worry about is the driver in the pink and black car for Blackouts Racing behind him. And of course, it's Brendan Leach. Daniel Chow still further back. Fastest best laps now for Tomoki Takahashi and Akash Gowda last time round, both in the very low 205s. Quickest lap last time round. Well, no surprise that that's the race leader. In fact, no, it wasn't the race leader. It was Daniel Chow back in position number 5. He went quickest with a 2:04.2, 2:04.3 for Sasha Hara at the front of this field. Jamie Chadwick continues to turn laps. Her pace, we said we'd talk to you about that, 2:05.272. So she's not far off the pace of the drivers in 6th and 7th. That's about probably where she'd have been in this race. So frustration after that contact with Takahashi coming through turn 2. Whilst they were battling for position, she was right in that battle group. It was a great run early for positions 5 back. So the race leader crosses the line one more time. 4-second lead now. Nearly 5 seconds. He's got down to 4.9 as Jack Doohan's been caught up in that fight behind him with Ishan Peiris. So Peiris now 3/10ths back. 2:04.3 for Sasha Hara at the front of the field. That's why he's made that jump on the drivers behind him. 2:05.2 for Jack Doohan. Peiris 2:05.7, 2:05.3 for Brendan Leach, 2:04.2 for Daniel Chow further back. So he's currently fastest driver on the track. We have 12 minutes to go in this race. You can see the clock in the centre of the screen at the top. GT Tyres working their magic. The drivers doing everything they can to extract the maximum from their cars. It's hot, it's testing. They're a heavy car to drive. They don't have the power steering and all the luxury driver aids of a modern GT3 car, but they're circulating this Sepang International Circuit faster than the bulk of the GT3 field competing in the Blancpain GT World Challenge Asia opening event this weekend on the same circuit. That is also putting rubber down on the circuit, so there is grip levels increasing, so that does have an impact too on the cars. Can also have a detrimental effect too on the overall pace of the cars. Can tend to slow them up if the grip is increasing. The car is clearly sucking to the circuit better. In some cases you can use that additional grip to corner faster, but in other cases it can have a slowing effect. The other thing that is dropping the pace over the 201s, the high 201s we saw in the opening race, of course, is the ambient temperature, now around 32, 33 degrees. Humidity still very, very high. Always threatening rain this time of year in Malaysia. Doesn't take much for it to just suddenly drop a torrential downpour, but we've been very lucky for the bulk of this week. We've seen a little bit of light rain towards the end of the day, which is pretty traditional. Not so much this time of year, but certainly it can fall. And it certainly feels damp, but that's normal. The drivers are dealing with it. Now, see, safety car board being shown in front of me. There is Mercedes-AMG safety car. And I wonder what that's about. I see safety car screens. Let's see who hasn't managed to appear on the timing monitor. So Sasha Hara leads from Jack Doohan. Ishan Peiris, Brendan Leach. This will work very nicely for Brendan Leach, the young New Zealander. See whether he can manage to convert this. Also worked very well too for Daniel Chow, who showed such good pace during qualifying yesterday that he managed to set pole position for the first race. Tomoki Takahashi back in position number 6. Akash Gowda position 7. Yu Kanemaru is in position number 8. Jordan Dempsey position 9. And Tom Beckhauser will be enjoying the fact that after a DNF in the opening race, he is back in position 10. Now I saw some red light up beside some of the drivers. No. Thomas Ludi now. Started with Tommy Smith. No. Dragon still there in position 13. Yamaguchi position 14. Thomas Ludi. There's red next to the number 9 Black Arts Racing entry. Not seeing too much. There's nothing on the time monitor that says where the issue is on the circuit. We may see something as we circulate. But that is frustration for Sasha Hara, who was out by 5 seconds to that point. Still circulating strongly. He's best at 2:03.8. 2:03.886. Second fastest so far in this race is Brendan Leach, who was storming through. He had a fairly large deficit to that battle for second between Jack Doohan and Ishan Peiris, but he's managed to close down the gap to just a car length behind. You'll see top screen now. That's the black and pink entry. Daniel Chow, the pole sitter for race 1. He started from position 3 in this race, got swamped down at turn 1. It's not difficult to have happen here at Sepang International Circuit. Certainly that has forced him to go on the attack, because that's not where he wanted to be after doing such a great job in qualifying. So the Absolute Racing team finished 3rd and 5th in the opening race, but it was reverse order with the current status, which has Ishan Peiris in position 3 and Chow in position number 4. 9 minutes to go. Clock still ticking, of course. We still don't see much. It is Thomas Ludy somewhere on the circuit. He has had an issue in the Black Arts Racing entry. It's not a great way to open his account. Passionate competitor, man from Hong Kong. Does a lot of miles in cars like F3, open wheel formula. Enjoys his motorsport. Had a tough run in the opening race. Made contact with Yamaguchi at turn 9, or it started at turn 9, certainly ended at turn 12 where the yellow flags were waved. Yamaguchi's car with broken rear suspension, buried up to the axles in the gravel trap. For Thomas Ludy, he came down pit lane soon after. There is the 95 entry. That is Tom Beckhauser, currently in position number 10. Great recovery from him from a rear of field start by virtue of a DNF in the opening race with a technical issue. They seem to have gotten that all sorted. So Black Arts Racing now, Brendan Leach position 4 and storming around second of their team members, Tom Beckhauser in position number 10. Unfortunately for Thomas Ludy, it looks like DNF, so the lights off on the safety car. No. Okay, still circulating. No news at the moment. Thomas Ludy. But for Sasahara, what a start to the season. You look at his credentials, very, very strong competitor. 2017, second in the F4 Japanese Championship, third in the Japanese F3 Championship last year, made it to the Macau Grand Prix. That is a real mark of your talent if you can make the field there. Of course, we saw during the Winter Series in the off-season for these cars, Dan Ticktum, two-time Macau Grand Prix winner, and recently tested for Red Bull in the F1 Junior test. That also saw another rising young star in the open wheel formula. He's been involved in F3. That, of course, is young Mick Schumacher. He is a star of the future, no doubt. Doing their testing, Dan Ticktum turning some pretty sensible and quick laps in the Red Bull racing equipment. Yes, he is one of their young stars. And another one in the Red Bull camp here this weekend, that is Australia's Jack Doohan. So nice to see that Jamie Chadwick's managed to return to the field. This works out for her too, so she's now onto the tail of the pack. Safety car in this lap, so wherever Thomas Ludy is, car's obviously been recovered. Not a lot of activity down here in front of me, so I imagine it's been taken behind the barriers somewhere on the circuit. There it is, so great to see that's okay. So Thomas has been recovered. May have been a technical issue for the Black Arts Racing driver. He's doing quite well. He was just onto the tail of the top 10. The safety car is getting ready to go. Drivers will work themselves back up to tyre temperature. They've lost that over the last couple of laps. Only 6 minutes to go in this race. Only a couple of laps left. But for Jamie Chadwick, she's now on the rear of the pack, immediately in front of her. Paul Wong, Toroki Yamaguchi, Dragon and Tommy Smith. So expect the young driver who will make the W Series field this year, Jamie Chadwick, to start to storm further forward in the 7GP entry. Unfortunately, contact down at turn 2 with Tomoki Takahashi battling over position number 5 early in this race. Saw her lose the front wing. She was forced back down pit lane, lost wholesale time. The team very quickly making a change to put the new nose cone on. She was back out. She's turning laps. Her quickest lap at the moment, 2:04.66. To put that into perspective, Jack Doohan's best is a 2:04.48. So keep a close eye on the 77. There it is, second from the rear, the silver entry. That is Jamie Chadwick. Sasahara, Jack Doohan, Ishan Piras, Brendan Leach, Daniel Chow, Tomoki Takahashi, Akash Gowda, Yu Kanemaru, Jordan Dempsey and Tom Beckhauser are your 10. Safety car should be gone. It is gone. The Japanese driver leads the field around once more. What does Ishan Piras have for Jack Doohan down at turn number 1? He tried a massive crossover a couple of laps ago, had it all but pulled off, almost blindsided Doohan. He went left, and the very last second, as it was clear that Doohan would focused eyes forward again, he suddenly zapped across to the inside but couldn't pull the car up. And you can see this time round, Doohan was wise to that. He wasn't going to allow that opportunity to happen again. Brendan Leach in position number 4 had done such a great job. Daniel Chow now is right onto his tail. So that was the pole sitter from earlier today. Finished in position 3, currently in position 5, and very keen to move further forward. Tomoki Takahashi in the white and red livery. Oh, this is interesting. Doohan And Pires seems to have really, really good pace. A little bit of oversteer. Yes, he's messed that up completely. Brendan Leach has gone one side. Daniel Chow's gone the other. This could get ugly. 3 wide through this part of the circuit is not going to work, especially with an open wheeler. They made sense of that, managed to get through. So Brendan Leach through. So too Daniel Chow, and that has gone all kinds of wrong for Ishan Pires. Now back to position 5 and under fire for 2 of the super license entries. So a good restart for Yu Kanemaru. He's got past Akash Gowda. He's up into position number 7. So the super license drivers looking very racy again. Gowda in the all blue entry further back. Jordan Dempsey immediately behind him, the young man who took the China F4 title last year. And he'll be looking to try and make an impression too. Still very young, still has a lot of years ahead of him in this level of competition. So it'll be interesting to see just what he can make of that as the year goes on. I would look to a driver like Jordan Dempsey and certainly someone young like Tommy Smith to start to really emerge as we get to the mid-season of this year. But right now, this is race 2 of 15 with 3 minutes to go. Sasha Hara controlling at the front of the field as he has done all weekend. Well, certainly in the racing, not so much qualifying. Was pipped for pole by about 4/100ths of a second by Daniel Chow. Oh, what's happened here? So after all that good work, it looks like Takahashi's going to be jumped by Kanemaru. So he's gone further up as we come to the line. The 2 super license drivers have had a swap. Number 8 entry now of Kanemaru's got past Takahashi, who started so strongly. Slipstream Gowda in the back of this, and I don't think Takahashi's all that impressed. He wants the position back. I can tell you Rio Fukuda won't be too impressed if they take each other out. We're very close to touching wheels. Gowda almost on the crossover. Jordan Dempsey watching this. Kuai Yu further back in the Zen Motorsport entry. The Chinese driver keeping tabs on what's going on. So look at Sasha Hara. He set the fastest lap on the first flying lap after the restart. 2:03.7. He clearly has plenty in reserve. That's what he wants to see. He's up by 2.1 seconds. Of course, Jack Doohan is doing everything he can to defend from Brendan Leach now, who's got past Daniel Chow. So Pires dropping further back. So Brendan Leach is doing a brilliant job. He really is storming. 2:05 dead last time round. So their pace pretty good. Oh, a little bit wide for Takahashi. Just needs to back it up a little bit. He's lost that position. Now his teammate's getting away. So he can't get too emotional about what's just happened. This is a big part of maturity for a young driver, is to be able to recover from the fact that you've just been taken, whether it's your teammate or somebody else, and just settle back into a groove and fire it back as best as you can. The all blue entry of Akash Gowda in position number 8. So Daniel Chow, position 4. Ishan Pires back to position 5, which is exactly where he finished the opening race. He'd done such a solid job at the start. At one stage, held position 2 in this race before he just went in a little bit too deep at turn 1. Allowed Jack Doohan to make a crossover and take the position back, make it a high-tech Grand Prix 1-2 once more. Just over, or just under rather, a minute to go. 49 seconds, 48, 47. There'll be one more lap after this. And what a great start to the season this has been. 2 great races. Not too much drama on track. Unfortunately for Thomas Beauty, he's been caught up in 2 DNFs so far this weekend. But this will be another relatively clear run. 16 cars still running strongly on the lead lap. Where did Jamie Chadwick get to? She's up to position number 12, so already taken 5 cars. There's a move. That's the number 4 entry. It's Tom Beckhauser looking to try and take that Black Arts Racing entry past Kuai Yu. Very iconic colours, very Ayrton Senna-esque helmet for the Chinese driver in the Zen Motorsport entry. Front of the field, there is Jack Doohan. He's got Brendan Leach still right behind him. 2.6 seconds is the advantage for Sasha Hara at the start, at the front rather, of this field. 13 laps in the books. This could well be last lap, may well be next lap round. It's usually 30 minutes plus laps the leader. Number 1 entry, the number 2 entry, that's the high-tech Grand Prix team. Did such a good job during the F3 Asian Championship presented by the FIA in season 2018. And dominated the front of the field. And certainly that's what they're looking to try and do here this weekend, is to open their account very, very strongly. Sasahara, Jack Doohan, Brendan Leach, Daniel Chow, Isham Peiris here. Top 5. Yu Kanemaru got through on Tomoki Takahashi not long after the restart. Akash Gowda still trying to make amends and get through on the number 7 entry. He looks pretty strong too. Jordan Dempsey, Yu, Tom Beckhauser back to position 11 and under attack from Jamie Chadwick. She's not too far behind. So the new entrant for the W Series, on the MRF Series in India recently. First woman to do so. That was a sterling result. Then graduated through the W Series for the first event in that championship using identical cars to what we're seeing here this weekend. The TARDIS chassis, the F3. Checkered flag is out, so we've missed the last lap that time round. Checkered flag, so the double header so far for Sasahara, for Jack Doohan. Well, that's a brilliant run for him. He managed to hold out Brendan Leach by just 16/100ths of a second. Daniel Chow across the line in position 4. Ishan Peiris position number 5. Yu Kanemaru took position number 6 in the advantage over his super licensed teammate Tomoki Takahashi. Akash Gowda position 8. Jordan Dempsey, Tom Beckhauser. That is your 10. Yu into position number 11. Jamie Chadwick, 0.7 of a second back from the Chinese driver in the Zen Motorsport entry. She got up to position number 12 after being a long way back after that contact early in the race in Takahashi. And Jamie Chadwick is position number 12. Tommy Smith in position number 13. Dragon position 14. Toroka Yamaguchi in 15. And Paul Wong, the last of the classified finishers. And there is the result. Sasahara, Doohan, Leach and Daniel Chow. Isham Peiris, Kanemaru taking the advantage over his teammate Takahashi, Akash Gowda and Jordan Dempsey. They are your top 9. You can see how close it was, but there was a late race safety car, unfortunately, for the retirement of Thomas Moody. Tom Beckhauser, Yu, Jamie Chadwick, Tommy Smith, Dragon, Toroka Yamaguchi and Paul Wong. Unfortunately for Thomas Moody. We'll find out what happened about that, but keep up to date with the social media and web updates. All the W's.f3asia.com. And there we are, watching Brendan Leach, the young New Zealander who did such a great job for the Black Arts Racing operation. Worked his way through very strongly to finish on the podium. A nice result for the young New Zealander. We will hear from the drivers when they get back to pit lane. It'll be interesting to hear what Ukyo Sasahara has to say. But certainly he has been the star performer so far this weekend. Winner in F4 and F3 in his home country. And a 2-time winner to open his account in the F3 Asian Championship. And another good result, another one too for High Tech Grand Prix, continuing their domination of the championship. Let's see the Black Arts Racing team down there celebrating. So let's take a look back at how this race played out. Left of screen, pole sitter, Sasahara. Right of screen, Jack Doohan. You can see him angled across, but keep a close eye on Isham Peiris. He's in the green entry that went all the way to the wall. So too, Tomoki Takahashi in the number 7 super license entry. The white car that's back in about position 5. Brendan Leach got caught 3 wide. Daniel Chow almost making contact with Peiris, his teammate, who forced his way through to 3rd. See Takahashi, tail of the number 7 entry, getting a little bit skittish. Just opened the door there for Brendan Leach to come through, and he didn't need a second invitation. That unfortunately is the reason for the safety car. Thomas Moody coming to a stop on the circuit, didn't seem to be much damage, and then on the restart Peiris got it all wrong down at turn 4, got swamped. Daniel Chow one side, Brendan Leach the other, and that dropped him further back down the order. He wasn't the only one that got swamped. Tomoki Takahashi had done such a great job at the start in the super license entry, got Dive bomb by his teammate, Yukanemaru, down at turn 14. And then he got even more drama further around the circuit, running wide. That very nearly opened the door too for Akash Gowda. At the front of the field, Sasha Hara, despite the fact he lost a lot of ground in that safety car intervention, drove away from the field again to record a second 1-2 result for High Tech Grand Prix. I can see the crew down there. Sasha Hara taking a quick drink. And we will be down to Feline. She was with the race winner, two-time winner now, and the pole sitter for this race, Ukyo Sashihara.
Hi, Ukyo. Congratulations. 2 wins back-to-back. Yeah. And what do you think? Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was a good start again. And, first 2 corner, Jack was quite, alongside me, but it was fine. And after a couple corner, I could manage the gap. So I just try to take care of the tire, not degrade too much. I think the curve was perfect. So I must thanks to all the high-tech member. Perfect.
Okay, congratulations. 刚刚呢，我问到Okio 桑呢，他自己他觉得今天的比赛有什么？因为他赢了2场比赛，今天他自己有什么样的一个感受？他提到呢，他的起步非常的顺利，同时呢，在第2和第3个弯的时候呢，有一点点和后面的竞争之后，他在后面的几个弯道就很快的超越了对手。同时呢，他也非常之后他要做的事情只是要保持这个轮胎的性能 OK 就可以了。那也非常感谢他的车队 High Tech 那给他的一辆非常设置调教的非常好的车辆。
Thanks, Feline. Great to hear from the drivers after they've had their run. They're heading up to the podium. We'll see and hear a little bit more from them. But what a way to open the account for the High Tech Grand Prix team. And they're going to have the box seat again for race 3. Qualifying 2 sets the grid for the 3rd race of the weekend. Advantage Australia effectively. Jack Doohan, position 1. But young Tommy Smith, for the Pinnacle Motorsport entry, just 16 years of age, he's put himself on the front row alongside his compatriot. The second in it, 2:06.2 during that second qualifying session. So Jack Doohan will start pole. Ukyo Sashihara will start from the second row alongside Tomoki Takahashi, who was the early star of this race. His teammate, Yukanemaru, took position number 5, and Jamie Chadwick will start from position 6. You look further back down to Daniel Chow. Well, he did not get classified during qualifying. A 2:20, his best lap. He had a drama, Paul Wong, and so too Thomas Beauty. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they recover. Great to see the drivers. Got Paul Wong on screen. Just grabbed a glimpse. So we will hear from the top drivers, no doubt, at some point. Keep up to date with all the action online, on social media, on the web. And make sure you join us, because we will be back tomorrow. Of course, we're going to go through to qualifying and then the press conference, but make sure you join us tomorrow, 1:50 p.m. Malaysian local time. That is about 22 and a bit hours from now. And you can join us for what will be the 3rd race. It'll be the final race here at Sepang International Circuit for season 2019. And you could expect that it will present some very, very interesting racing. Doohan so far, 2 from 2, second, but he starts from pole position for the 3rd race tomorrow. Interesting to see what track conditions will be like for that too. But he no doubt will be one of the drivers to keep a close eye on tomorrow. Team will obviously go away and do a little bit of work. He didn't quite have the pace of his Japanese teammate, and he'll be looking to try and right that wrong by the time we get to race 3 tomorrow. So stay with us, podiums, and then through to the press conference, and please join us again tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now having the podium ceremony for 2019 Formula 3 Asia Championship, certified by FIA Race 2. Let's welcome our winners onto the podium. Winner of the race, car number 1 from High-Tech Grand Prix, Yukio Sasahara. Second place, car number 2 from High-Tech Grand Prix, Jack Duran. Third place, car number 86 from Black Arts Racing, Brendan Lech. Now it's my honor to invite Mr. Wang Maocai, Assistant to General Manager of GT Tire Investment Company, to present the trophy to the winner. Now let's invite Mr. Masahiko Ida, President of GT Holdings Limited, to present the trophy to second place. Now let's invite Mr. David Jacobi, General Manager of Top Speed Shanghai Limited, to present the trophy to third place. Now let's have group photo. Cheers! Champagne time! And we have another photo. Now let's have the podium ceremony for MasterCard. Winner of MasterCard, car number 30 from B-Max Racing Team, Dragon. Second place, car number 28 from B-Max Racing Team, Haruki Yamaguchi. Third place, car number 44 from 8.2 Challengers by Zama Sports, Paul Wang. Now let's invite Mr. Wang Maocai again, Assistant to General Manager of GT Tire Investment Company Limited, to present the trophy to the winner. Now let's welcome Mr. Masahiko Ida, President of GT Holdings Limited, to present the trophy to second place. Let's invite Mr. David Gobi, General Manager of Top Speed Shanghai Limited, to present the trophy to third place. Let's have full photo. First, shopping time!
2019 TCR Asia Series, the 5th season of the regional championship. This is the longest running TCR championship in the world, and it's nice to have you back for what promises to be a very, very interesting season. So for the very first time in TCR Asia, we have the #1 title holder back in the field. That, of course, is
Welcome to the press conference of the Formula 3 Asian Championship Race 2. Congratulations to the top 3 finishers. Ukyo, congratulations with your another pole to flag finish. Were you worried when the safety car came out?
Yeah, you actually worried about that because the gap was quite big in the beginning. Then, but I was managing tire in the beginning of the race, so I was a bit of unluck, but lucky situation at the end. So yeah, it was fine. Yeah, thankfully. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Jack. Tell us about your race. Ishan was putting quite a bit of pressure on you at the beginning of the race. Even managed to get past once. Were you being slowed down defending?
Yeah, I just don't think we really had the pace in the race. The other guys coming from behind were definitely a lot quicker, and Yukio as well. So I was struggling to keep him behind me, but I was just trying to make as least amount of mistakes that I could, and I knew he was going to be there the whole time. So I just wanted to try and maintain my position to the end, and luckily it held it off.
All right, well, you did well. Congratulations. Brendan, your first race weekend in Formula 3. Tell us about your race and the restart after the safety car.
Yeah, it was pretty dicey. The absolute cars are quite quick, so it was just a matter of trying to keep them behind me. And then, I knew I had some good tyres. The Oli Blackouts car is handling really well, so we're making some big progress there. And the last couple of laps we had some good speed, and I put a bit of pressure on Jack, but didn't quite have enough to get past a little bit of aero wash and things like this.
All right, well done. Thank you very much. Group photo. All right, thank you. Thanks.
See you tomorrow.
All right, can the master drivers? Welcome to the press conference of the Formula 3 Asian Championship Masters category. Congratulations to the top 3 finishers. We'll start with you, Dragon. This time it wasn't just luck. You managed to win based on merit. Tell us about your race this time.
おめでとうございます。今回はラッキーだけじゃなかったですね。実力で勝ったと思うんですけども、いかがですか？
今日のレースはスタートが良かったんで、スタートで前出れて、そこからは自分のペースで後続を離すことができたんで、今日のレースとしてはいい流れだったと思うんですが、セーフティーカーが入った後はちょっと慎重にいったんで、後続との差はちょっと詰められましたけど、マネジメントできたレースだったと思います。
So today my start was good. I did a good start, and then I managed the gap. So then after the safety car, I more carefully to driving to manage the position. Finally, I won again, so I'm happy. It was a good race.
Very good, thank you very much. Taroku, second place, well done, especially after a grid penalty. Are you happy with the pace of the car?
2位おめでとうございます。グリッドのペナルティを受けた後のレースで、2位表彰台ということで、ペースはマネージできましたか？
今日のレースというか、今回来た時にちょっと日本のスケジュールがタイトすぎて、ちょっと車のシェイクダウンが金曜日のフリー走行だったので、その時にもちょっとブレーキのトラブルも出てしまって、予選がほとんど車のシェイクダウンっていう形だったので、そんなに走れてない状況でやんなきゃいけない状態だったので、1レース目のちょっと、アクシデントもあって、2レース目はとにかく集中してレースをやろうという形で、とりあえず2位で、頑張ったと思います。
So this time my car was a new car. So actually had a Japanese Formula 3 testing schedule. So I came here and started to drive this Friday, yesterday. So and almost my shakedown was like qualify, and I had a bit the brake problem for the qualify, and also I had some trouble in the race 1, but finally today I got the second position. It's and keep pushing for the next round. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Paul. Congratulations, another podium. This weekend you're on double duties because you're also driving the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. Can you already notice that you're faster in the GT cars as well after driving a single-seater?
Yes, of course. Driving the Formula car, I can feel the car is better. Big improvement for me, the race car.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we take a group photo.